Yeah, that's, when you see, the wife calls and you're not expecting, it's like, so I need to take this. Okay, I need to take this call. But somebody was reminding me of something that I was listening to before I went on. And probably when I play this, it'll probably get, the YouTube gods will get me on it. But I want to play it. I don't remember where exactly in it was, but this is the hypocrisy that drives me crazy, that people do. The whole Adam Schefter, going through and saying the whole shoulder and he won't be 100% and everything else. It's like, are you working with them? I mean, what's the sources on this? Do you really know? Or is this just that you're doing like you did with Aaron Rodgers and just kind of saying, well, if we put the pieces together, Aaron Rodgers is going to get out of there. But the way you brought it across was like you just gotten, news that Aaron Rodgers is not returning on the day of the draft. So people are making decisions by what they're hearing from people like you that are deemed credible sources. So let's listen to this just a little bit. I'm not going to put the video up on it. Maybe that'll help. But there was a couple things that Skip Bayless said that were definitely lies.
Got to see him playing cards with teammates, and he also shared his childhood fear of people in costumes. So, Shannon, what have you learned about Dak from Hard Knocks so far?
Skip, I already knew Dak was a good guy. His teammates really like him. Mm-hmm. He's a really down-to-earth guy. Plays cards with the guys. He goes out, probably goes bowling. They probably do a lot of things together. So there's nothing not to like about Dak Prescott, even though playing spades looked like him and Zeke got set on that last hand. Looked like they ran a 10 for 2 on him. So
they did. I noticed that.
So they can't win the Super Bowl now.
The mailroom, Jonathan Jackson. I loved him. He took it over.
Hey, you ain't no hard feelings. Zeke ain't no hard feeling when you come into the stadium. Skip, Dak's a good leader. He's the type of quarterback that you want, a guy that guys gravitate towards. He's going to do the right things. He's going to be prepared mentally, physically. Yeah, he has a little setback not dealing with the lat muscle, the sprain in his lat. But, Skip, there's nothing not to like about him. Now, we didn't get a whole lot. The previous episodes, we learned a little bit about the shoulder, possibly when he possibly come back. Then we didn't get anything about that last night. And so I don't think that was an accident.
I
don't think that was an accident. I think, hey, Dak, you putting too much information out there. We don't want this out there. Let's just go play it out. September 9th's going to roll around. Mm-hmm. You're going to trot out there, be up under the center, and we'll move from there. But Skip, for me, I didn't learn anything different about Dak that I didn't already think or didn't already know. I thought he was a good guy. He came across as a good guy, a guy that his teammates like being around, gravitate towards. That's the type of guy that you can win with.
Mm. Oh, now you can win with him.
Okay. First of all, a quick observation about Ezekiel Elliott. So we got to see inside a quarterback room meeting, and the conversation starts with Zeke talking about why he have always been afraid of mascots. They're like Dak's people in costumes, but he doesn't like mascots. They just they bother him.
Right.
Just their general
kind of like
appearance.
you bother us.
And I'm thinking,
looks like you wearing a mask there too.
What's Zeke doing in the quarterback room?
Right.
And then I read in today's USA Today that he has long been allowed to attend quarterback meetings to streamline communication. This is just my hunch from a distance. I think he's long been allowed to attend because he and Dak are like that.
Right.
They are joined at the hip.
Yes.
And they're good for each other because they vibe off each other. And I think they both said, hey, we spent a lot of hours.
There's a
away
reason
from
why
each other.
I'm playing this.
Let Zeke come into the quarterback meeting because there'll be a lot of communication that can actually help him in that meeting. And I agree with that. But I have
Cowboys
never,
Nation,
ever
how you
heard
doing?
of a running back sitting in the quarterback room.
Never.
Have you?
Nope.
And I will bet you no other team in this league has a running back in the quarterback room as we speak.
Even when I was going to have running back responsibility, Skip, I was going to have to block from the backfield. I never sat in there. It was just, we talk about that in the offensive meeting. I went in my own meeting and they said, okay, Shannon, this is what we're going to need you to do. You're going to motion to the backfield and you scan 1 to 2.
Is it respected?
Liz, obviously, you got the guy off the edge or one of those guys. If they go rip, you go to the other side. But I didn't go in the quarterback room, Skip. I just didn't. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but that's not how we normally do it.
You concur it's unusual.
It's very
as
unusual.
in highly unusual.
Very unusual.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Very.
Okay, so
Next
now
thing
this
I
is an
noticed
issue.
about the seating in the quarterback room, the spacing is that Dak now sits in the first row of seats that go above the table, at which all the other quarterbacks and coaches are sitting. So he's a little bit removed into himself, which that's his new stature. He's going to make $75 million next year. He is the unquestioned leader of
So
this
you got a problem with him
franchise. He is
getting
the face of the
$75 million?
franchise, but he's not sitting among them elbow to elbow. He's in a seat one row up above.
Okay, so I just want to go through this whole thing. So you first of all hear the whole thing. Well, he's going to make $75 million next year, but you don't look at what he didn't make all those other years where Kirk Cousins has made $200 million. By the end of this season, this year, Kirk Cousins will have made over $200 million. Kirk freaking Cousins, but he's Dak Prescott's going to get okay. All right, so what does that have to do with anything? Quarterbacks are overpaid.
Of the table, I'm good with that. I sort of like the body language of that because I am the man in here.
Yeah, but Skip, now these meeting rooms are so big. I mean, when I was playing, wasn't nobody sitting up on nobody because the room was only so big.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the star. That's the $1 billion empire.
You really got like
Jerry
4 people
Jones.
in there.
Okay, I got it. So,
Joshua Johnson. I hope that's right.
Because I've gotten to see inside Dak Prescott in ways I had no idea about because he is very guarded in interviews. I often feel like after games, he works hard at saying little.
Skip Bayless, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. He is guarded. He is guarded. Are you kidding me? He is guarded. The man came out last year and said he deals with depression after losing his mother, after his brother committing suicide, after going through COVID and not being able to be with his people. He put out about the most vulnerable statement that you could put out there and say that I deal with depression. So if you are feeling this too, you're not alone, which opened the door for so many people to feel like if Dak Prescott, the quarterback of America's team, can feel the same way I do, then there's nothing wrong with me. And now you're saying he's so guarded? And if I remember right, you were the jackass that said, I don't know if I want him to be a quarterback of America's team, because you got to basically, suck it up and everything else. I can see a defensive lineman coming through there and sacking him. Are you depressed now? He literally said that shit. You are so contradictory that I can't even say it. I can't even say it, Skip. That's some bullshit right there. You can't have it both ways, dog. Let's go a little deeper.
Like he avoids, he ducks, he dodges.
Right.
He avoids questions, especially potentially negative questions, better than he does pass rushers.
But Skip, one thing the quarterback knows, Skip, anything that he's
Philly D, shout out to he avoids negative questions. Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys. I'm gonna ask you honestly now, and maybe I am jaded. Doddle, has a hip injury and is put on injured reserve. I'm gonna ask you guys, am I wrong on this? Am I the only one that sees this? Because to me, that's some BS. That's some BS. Let's listen to some more.
say can and will be used against him.
Well, obviously.
His word is dynamite. He says something negative after a ball game, Skip.
Especially for that team,
Yes.
America's team,
Yes.
on that stage
Yes.
at the $1 billion star and in Jerry World.
Right.
You have to be exceedingly careful. And remember what he had to do. He had to beat out Tony Romo, who to a lot of people was godlike. Right?
Well, he was godlike to Jerry.
He was. No, he was. and to be able to navigate those deep waters and take over that team.
There's another part to this. That's why
he learned to play the media game in ways that aren't good for us, because I'd like to know a little bit more. Well, I'm getting to see way deep inside because Dak is getting more and more comfortable through these episodes. What do we have? Just one left? I think it's just one more. 4 episodes. This was the third.
Shannon, Skip and Shannon.
He's showing me, he's, so to speak, letting his hair down. He's showing me inside him in ways I had no idea. I only know him really as a competitor on the football field. And the story he told was kind of chilling, but it was eye-opening about he just doesn't like people in costumes. And he said it carried on until he was in middle school. He's telling his mother, I fear him, because his point was, you never know who's inside that costume. He says that's the perfect place.
Stop right there, Skip Bayless. Stop right there, because you are that guy in a fucking costume. You are that person that people fear because, oh, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm a diehard. That's my team. But you are that clown in a costume that throws their shit in the trash. You are the one that throws them under the bus for actually being vulnerable and admitting the truth, and make it belittle him and try to literally make it seem like, oh, he's not the guy. And then turn around. Oh, well, you got to take a team-friendly contract. You're getting paid all this money. You jackass are getting paid how much money? How much money? How much money? Nobody's telling you that you should take less money when your contract came up, did they? This is the hypocrisy of Skip Bayless that is freaking insane. Let's go on some more, because you see the whole point. You hear the whole point.
Place to kill somebody, and he goes on to say, and that she understood, and he said, y'all think it's a fake chainsaw that guy in the costume is carrying, but you don't know if one of them crazy, as you say, mofos, put a blade on that B word one day, as in the chainsaw might have an actual blade on it instead of a rubber blade, right? So it was a great story, because I thought, oh, well, that's his one deep phobia. You know, like he has a fear of people in costumes because he doesn't know what their motive might be.
I think the thing is also what I like about him, Skip, is that although I'm the quarterback, yes, I'm the highest paid, yes, I'm the face of the franchise, he doesn't put himself above the teammates.
No.
He's also a guy, Skip, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones go to bed, they're never going to get a call about Dak Prescott.
Here it comes. Here comes the other part.
Yeah, I hope you're right. Just for the record, just to be completely objective, he did have a DUI.
Yeah,
wrong. Wrong, buddy. Wrong. He was stopped for DUI. He was taken in under suspicion of a DUI. And I heard an interesting story. Interesting, and you can say I'm a liar, because people will say, when I said that, that Stephen A. Smith actually punched Jobu, they said I was a liar, but actually the video that I'll upload a little bit later is actually, you'll see Stephen A. Smith actually giving a right cross to Jobu and knocking him down. But anyway, what I was told was when Dak was at the police department, he asked them for his cell phone, right? Now, if you're drunk now, the guy tossed it to him, and Dak caught it from behind his back. How many drunk people that are catching a cell phone behind their back, handcuffed? So that case was dismissed. But see, what he just did was, I hope Jerry Jones never gets a call in the middle of the night. I hope. Because he did have that DUI back in college. This is where you're kind of twisting shit around and not telling the whole story right to make somebody look bad. You're talking about a guy who's got Stand Up for Cancer. You're talking about a guy who has all kinds of teaching classes. You've got a guy who does more charity work than almost anybody else out there. And you're trying to, you're talking about a guy who's literally in the middle of a freaking football game and he throws his can and misses a trash can and he gets up and puts it in the trash can. Who does that? Who does that? Dak Prescott does. And now you're saying, well, I hope Jerry Jones doesn't get that call in the middle of the night. And he's got this whole attitude that he should just be thankful that the Dallas Cowboys had mercy on him and just gave him all this money, the $75 million he's going to get paid this year. Shall I go on? Shall I go on?
College.
At Mississippi State.
Yes.
Just one.
Yeah, I think
just one.
You know, I think he got that out of his system and he realized that, you know what? I want to enjoy, because a lot of times, Skip, as an athlete, you don't get the certain privileges and the certain benefits of a college student.
Yep.
Because you looked at it different. They don't know the guy that's going to the science class that's getting a degree in journalism or something like that.
Agreed.
But you're the quarterback of the Mississippi State Bulldogs. That's going to make the news. Somebody in the drama class that gets a DUI ain't going to make the news.
Nope.
He learned that.
Even in
But he didn't get a
Starkville,
DUI.
Mississippi.
Yes, yes. So he learned at a very young age. Yes, I want to do certain things, but I can't. I forego that. I gave that all up because this is what I wanted to be, and you have to be willing to make those kinds of sacrifices.
Right.
I believe he's willing to make those kinds of sacrifices.
Right. And some people speculated that's why he fell some in the draft. Well, I'm losing track. Was he fourth round?
Fourth round.
Fourth round. So
You didn't even remember what round he was picked in.
if you redrafted that draft today,
Oh, yeah,
would he not go?
no question he's a first rounder.
Well, he's definitely a first rounder. I'd have to go back and study.
I don't
You
look
can't
at it
remember
before,
that
but
Jared Goff and Carson Wentz in the first two.
He'd be top five-ish.
Oh,
right?
easy.
Or wouldn't he go above those two now?
Probably, because they went 1-2.
Okay, so is it possible he'd go one in that draft? He just well might.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what's happened. And yet, as a Dallas Cowboy, no issues. So to your point, that's why Jerry and Steven, well, in the end, that's why Jerry finally caved and said, I just don't have another choice. I got to pay him this kind of money.
I gotta.
And Jerry admitted at the media session, he got me.
Right.
I lost.
Right.
I kept telling you. Jerry got taken to the cleaners, then he got taken to the bank by Dak Prescott.
Well, I think the biggest thing, Skip, is that Dak beat his son. He viewed Tony Romo as a son.
Hold on. He beat him or he earned it? He beat him or he earned it? It wasn't a card game and Jerry Jones lost and had to pay up. The only one he earned it. How is it that he beat Jerry Jones? If Dak Prescott wasn't out there playing lights out the way he did, and then you found out after you thought Andy Dalton was going to be the guy that can replace him. This is the way he kind of shades the shit.
Yeah.
And Dak Prescott took the job for he looked at it like Stevie, look at Jerry Jr., he looked at it like his daughter, I think his daughter's named Charlotte. Mm-hmm. That's how he viewed Tony Romo.
He did.
Skip, he did not want Dak Prescott to get this job.
And remember, Tony made a concession speech both in the locker room right after the game at Pittsburgh, our first year here on Undisputed. Remember, we were in New York that week, and then we came back, and that was the Sunday game at Pittsburgh. I didn't think they could win that game, and remember, Zeke took the game over. Dak was special in that game. They won at Roethlisberger, and in the locker room, Romo told Stephen Jones, and it was reported that, hey, you have no idea how hard it is to do what he just did. Right. And then that Tuesday, he just gave a concession speech. I give it up. It's his job.
I still believe Jason Garrett and Stephen Jones fought for Dak like dad. Well, they don't call him Dad. Stephen, they call him Jerry. Jerry, you can't do this.
Yeah.
You cannot give Tony this job back. This kid is playing too well.
Okay.
Yep,
so
he earned it.
Brady.
Yeah, he did, Skip. Hey, injury? You can lose. And I don't know who started that, Skip, where that idea came from. You can't lose.
All right, enough of that. So I had gotten I apologize. It kind of changed what I was doing, but I'd listened to this thing before, and I was like, he got a DUI. I was like he was convicted on it. He was never convicted. He was arrested, and unless you are convicted by a jury of your peers, okay, then it doesn't count. It didn't happen. People can get arrested all the time, but if there's not a conviction, it's not a conviction. You're innocent. And so I heard that portion of it, and I didn't really pay that much attention to the rest of it because I was only half listening to it. But I had somebody who called me that said, I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. It's more crap. That's just bullshit. And I was like, let me listen to this again with you guys and see it. And the more I listen to Skip Bayless, the more you see how they throw shade at him. It's kind of like a backhanded, oh, I'm a nice guy. I'm a big fan of his, but, I hope Jerry doesn't get any calls in the middle of the night. Why would you think Jerry Jones would get calls in the middle of the night? Why would you even say something like that? That I hope he doesn't get any. That's like in your back of your mind, you're thinking that he's this bad guy that's going to, lurch his head. But it's funny that they talked about the people in costumes and fearing them. That's very poetic. That is truly Skip Bayless and his My Dallas Cowboys. That mother humper doesn't give a rat's ass about the Cowboys. Doesn't. If he's a Cowboy fan, he's the reason why people hate Cowboy fans, because this mother humper is a two-teamer, stab your ass in the back, SOB all the time. Dak is 19-6 in the division. Yeah, there you go. And that's the thing that's funny to me when people say, oh, I don't know about the Cowboys and things, and but it's crazy that 19-6. 19-6. Mark, I was so high earlier, I went the wrong job site this morning. Dude, if you're that high, don't go to the job site. You're using power equipment, man. Don't do that. Damn, Hawk, you said that the Cowboys are going to go 13-4. You said the Eagles are going to go like 12-5, and the Giants are going to go like 13-3. I was just like, how are you going to have everybody being like 12-win teams in the division? Derek, you are 100% real. He is a sheep in wolf's clothing. Excuse me, a wolf in sheep's clothing. I got it back. Maybe I'm the one that's high like Hawk. Hawk, did you pass the Dutchie over? Have you smoked so much shit, Hawk, that I caught a contact here online talking with you? Is that what happened? So, anyway, I wanted to originally come on because Rico Dowdle is on injured reserve with a hip injury. No word if he's going to have surgery or not. He will not be able to return this season. He was the third string back. Connor Williams and Dontre Kazee are both put onto the COVID list. Donovan Wilson has a groin pull, and there's no word how long he's going to be out. So right now, the Dallas Cowboys and Diggs has something going on too. I can't remember off the top of my head. So right now, the Cowboys are actually a little shorthanded in the secondary. And this is, short term, hopefully with COVID. Hopefully this is the end of the people testing positive for COVID. We don't want to keep getting 2 or 3 people every other day that are testing positive as we steamroll on our way down to playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the season opener. And with that being said, we've roasted Skip Bayless pretty good today. I'd say we got Skip Bayless pretty good. One other piece in here which is interesting is Michael Irvin may be joining First Take on Mondays. That might end up being much watched television, getting Michael Irvin going against Stephen A. Smith. So we'll have to wait and see if they end up getting that contract and stuff done, but they are definitely talking about that. And with that being said, I got to get back to my workshop. I got more work to do in there. And right now, we are finished doing it live.
For us today, and we will leave you with I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks. 5, 4, 3. That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.